Eagles now. We get busy, chasing Trizzy. Eagles now. Bruising birds, we keep it litty. Eagles now. Pre-game, post-game, make it look easy. Eagles now. No one likes us, please believe it. Eagles now. Super chats, we keep them coming. Eagles now. Jalen a booby, keep it running. Eagles now. Shots downtown, A.J. Brown. Eagles now. If you ain't know, you know it now. Eagles now.
All right, here we go. What's up and welcome in. This is Philadelphia Eagles Now, live here on Chat Sports, a special edition here on the NFL trade deadline. A lot of buzz for Philadelphia leading up to today. And, of course, last week, the Birds and Howie Roseman able to wheel and deal for Robert Quinn. So you had kind of an indication that that might be the big splash move for the Philadelphia Eagles. But I thought that there were a couple of positions on this roster they could have gone after in terms of depth pieces. Instead, Howie Roseman clearly pretty content with where this football team is right now. Doesn't make any moves. They stand pat on deadline day. We're going to talk about it coming up, and make sure you answer our question here on our live poll. Are you mad that the Eagles did not make a move here prior to the NFL trade deadline? On our live poll, it's very close. 54% no, 46% yes. And now let's start getting your questions in the comment section here. M for mad, U for Birds are undefeated. There really wasn't a weakness on this roster. Didn't really see a need for Howie Roseman to wheel and deal once again. Let us know in the comment section. We'll give you some shout-outs here. Shan Bright, undefeated. Brandon Ford said earlier, we needed a running back. Thomas Flynn, not at all. Flipping the Bird, 85. Sup, Chase? We missed you during our Sunday watch party, Flipping the Bird, 85. For every $20 super chat that came in, we put everybody's name on this 5-foot-tall Declaration of Independence. Well, on today's live show, we're going to be running it back as well. And the biggest super chat that does come in right now, it is from Elijah Stovall with the $100 super chat during our watch party on Sunday. Biggest super chat that comes in, we'll send this to somebody over the next couple of weeks as we begin to fill out the Declaration of Independence, because Philadelphia is America's birthplace. Start getting those answers in, and we'll continue to give you some more shout-outs. Lion Fighter X coming fresh off the wedding. He sends in the first super chat of today. But I'm peeking at the comment section here. Fly Eagles Fly 22. Not mad, but I wanted David Montgomery. That would have been a great move, especially because the Bears clearly were in sell mode. They did trade today for Chase Claypool, but that's more of a move for the future. But traded away Roquan Smith yesterday and then Robert Quinn to our Birds last week. Brandon Ford already getting that question in. Who do you predict will get the most rushing yards on Thursday, Sanders or Pierce? I think it'll be Miles Sanders just because he has the better team, better offensive line, and the quarterback in Jalen Hurts offers more of a running threat. So I'm going to go Sanders on that one. Super chat coming in from Lion Fighter X. We ring the bell for a $5 super chat. I'm upset that we didn't get Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt would have been fantastic. 4th-round pick, according to reports, was the asking price for Cleveland. But I think in not making that move for Kareem Hunt, Howie Roseman really did send a message to the locker room. I'm in love with the great culture that we have in place. Kareem Hunt, he's gotten in trouble in the past, as we've talked about, but also final year of his contract. So he wants a lot of carries. And let's just hope that Miles Sanders can stay healthy. I do have faith in Kenny Gainwell as well as Boston Scott as backup running backs on this roster. But another piece in there, like a Kareem Hunt, like a Nyheim Hines, who came very, very affordable, would have been nice for the Eagles. Shan Bright, $10 super chat. Thank you so much for that. EAGLES. We appreciate that donation. We'll ring the Liberty Bell for you as well. Lou G with the 5. Wish we deepened the secondary. Safety, as we're about to talk about, was another one of those positions that I thought the Eagles lacked depth in. And after C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who's been balling out, after Marcus Epps, I'm just concerned about some of the depth pieces. I mean, Kayvon Wallace, he is what he is at this point. And during that Cowboys game, when C.D. Deuce went out, Wallace had to come in, and that's when that secondary really started to struggle. So as you can see, the Super Chats are starting to pile in. Other people are piling in as well as they get that notification. Make sure you turn on your notice, by the way. Anytime we go live, anytime we push out a video, you will be notified. Our Super Chat menu for today, $5, ring the Liberty Bell. $10 EAGLES chant like we just did for Shan. $20 or more. Any super chats that come in $20 or more, we will sign your name on the Declaration of Independence, then send it to the biggest super chatter once we start filling it up. And for a $50 super chat, either Trace will do a freedom funnel or, of course, I will do my specialty, which is the shotgun. Shan Bright, another $2 super chat as those questions continue to come in on NFL trade deadline day. We'll pop this one up from Shan Bright. I see Chris Brown, Kara Poole, hiya, Kara Poole, the
Hi,
Eagles
Kara.
now mother, also in the chat. Shan with another one, her total up to 12. Thanks, Shan. I think we need to focus on a defensive lineman because we lost Jordan Davis. And Jordan Davis, on the injury report today from the NovaCare complex, I don't think he's going to play against the Houston Texans. And Nick Sirianni didn't confirm yesterday whether or not it was going to be a long-term injury. Initial reports, though, high ankle sprain, that he'd be out 4 to 6 weeks. That's a big loss because the rookie has been getting more snaps. And with getting more snaps, the production has also been pretty good. We've talked a little bit about Kareem Hunt from me bringing it up, but also from you in the comment section. Would you have given up a 4th-round pick for Kareem Hunt? Really good running back. Dual threat guy to be a backup behind Miles Sanders. Why for yes, N for no. And on our live poll, no is starting to distance yes. Are you mad the Eagles did not make a move? 58% no, 42% yes. How about for Kareem Hunt, though? A 4th for Kareem Hunt, would you have done it? Corey Porter said, we're 7-0. We need to focus on a defensive coach. I'm sick of Gannon's weak zone scheme. This defense has actually been playing pretty well. Shan Bright, Gannon is a horrible defensive coordinator. You know what's interesting? And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that Vic Fangio is on this staff as a consultant. If Jonathan Gannon leaves for any reason, whether he's fired or he gets a better opportunity elsewhere, look out for Vic Fangio to potentially take his spot. Y for yes, N for no. A 4th-round pick for Kareem Hunt. Ed Anderson said yes, would have given it up. You need the 4th rounder. They gave it up for Quinn from Ernest. Sir Rooster could have been a future 4th-round pick as well, though. Sir Rooster, what are your thoughts on the defense? My mind is boggled by some of the people in the chat. We literally have a top 3 defense in the NFL. Last year, I had a problem with this defense. I don't think they were aggressive enough, and because of that, they weren't able to get home enough against opposing quarterbacks. This year, though, I think they've actually been a little bit better. So, 4th for Hunt, steep asking price, but he's a good player. I just think that you continue to give those bell cow carries to Miles Sanders. We're going to go in a few moments in depth on all of this too, by the way. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Make sure you continue to hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. But how about this drone shot here? You're probably like, Chase, where is this? Well, this is in Scotland. And do you want a piece of land right here? You can get it in Scotland. In doing so, by purchasing a piece of land, do you want to help out the environment? You can do that as well. All thanks to today's new sponsor, Established Titles. If you head to establishtitles.com/chat, you get 10% off, and you can go by Lord or Lady in the process. What is Established Titles? Let me break it down here. A fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts by planting trees all across the globe with every purchase. It is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds, lords, and ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. You can officially include the title Lord or Lady on your credit card, plane tickets, dating profiles, etc., because you get the same proclamation and certificate that's on your screen. So for now, you can call me Lord Chase Sr. The first 200 people purchasing a title pack using our link will effectively be next to my plot and Trace's plot within a few minutes of walking distance. Depending on how many of you want to become a Lord or Lady, you can plant a tree or get land on our new Philadelphia Eagles Now Kingdom. So establishtitles.com/chat. our new presenting sponsor here on Eagles Now. More Super Chats continuing to come in. This one from Lou G. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles. Appreciate it, Lou. Chubb price was fair. Howie should have did something similar. 3 first-round picks, though, Lou G. And instead of the 4th for Quinn, give that up for Hunt. I would prioritize edge rusher, defensive end over running back. That's where I disagree. But it wouldn't be a good show without us disagreeing. And 3 first-round picks for Chubb. He would be your defensive end for the future. He has been playing really well this year. That is a steep price, but Miami, those 3 first-round picks that they surrendered for Bradley Chubb, if I said Nick Chubb, I apologize. Bradley Chubb, those 3 first-round picks that the Dolphins gave up for Bradley Chubb, they got those back from San Francisco in that Trey Lance trade. So they weren't really their own draft picks in Philadelphia. Yeah, they have that New Orleans Saints first-round pick for 2023, but we know that Howie Roseman really does like to stockpile assets, and he just didn't see that it was worth it for that particular trade because I can imagine he did make a call on Bradley Chubb. We can chop it up throughout the show. No planned mailbag coming up, but if you use the hashtag Eagles, producer Trace can at least pop you up on the screen. All Super Chats get featured on the show as well. And if you send in a $20 or more Super Chat, we will sign your name on the Declaration of Independence. The number to beat to have this mailed to you, a $100 Super Chat from our guy Elijah Stovall. This thing is 5 feet tall, and we will send it to the biggest Super Chatter once we start filling this up over the next couple of weeks. All right, if you're ready for the official show to start, this is what I want you to do right now. Hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. 130 people watching live right now, only 29 likes. Do you want to do a deep dive analysis into what transpired for the Birds and all other teams in the NFL here during the NFL trade deadline? Well, the solution to that is very simple, folks. Hit that thumbs up icon, like the video right now if you want to get the official show started as the Eagles decide to stay put on deadline day here for the undefeated Birds. Sir Rooster, are you surprised by the Eagles not using Trey Sermon at all? Not really. He didn't really do much with the San Francisco 49ers. He has a big frame. He doesn't really play like he has a big frame. And I think the Eagles are just more content with going with 3 running backs on active game days and maybe using that roster spot to have more depth at that tight end spot. I think that's the thinking for Philadelphia when it comes to that active game day roster. Can we get to 50 likes before we start the show? 130 people watching live, 41 likes, 9 likes away from 50. Come on, make some noise. Hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. We're about to get there. Chris Brown making a good point. Looks like Pascal is the new Watkins. Yeah, Quez Watkins' snaps have been down. His targets have been down. Offers a speed threat. That's why every single training camp, my man goes off. But Zach Pascal is a guy who Nick Sirianni really likes. Nick Sirianni coached him with the Indianapolis Colts. He's familiar with what Sirianni likes to do on the offensive side of the ball. And because of that, he's seeing a lot of those snaps right now. All right. Let's start the show right now, and I hope all of you hang out with us as we all break it down together. The 4 o'clock Eastern deadline on NFL trade deadline day is come and gone, and with that, the Philadelphia Eagles didn't make any moves. They decide to stand pat, and Howie Roseman doesn't further improve this roster after making that trade for Robert Quinn last week. And despite all of the speculation, despite all of the rumors, the Eagles decide to not make any moves. Now, there were a couple of names that the Eagles were linked to. One of them did include Nyheim Hines of the Indianapolis Colts, a backup running back for Indy, who really wasn't getting any playing time this year under former Eagles offensive coordinator, now the head coach for Indianapolis in Frank Reich. I thought this deal was possible because I didn't think that Hines was really going to have a role moving forward for Indy, so they were going to try to trade him away for some pretty good draft capital, and Nick Sirianni has familiarity with him when he was a coach with Indy, and he only went to the Buffalo Bills, who desperately needed running back help, for Zach Moss and a conditional 6th-round pick. I thought that Howie Roseman could have had Nyheim Hines for about this price tag, maybe even more, because they do have a lot of draft capital at their disposal, does Philadelphia, and Hines is an intriguing player because he's a dual threat back who can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can also return punts, and his production in 72 games played in his career has been pretty solid. He is a backup running back, and that's what I think the Eagles needed. They needed depth behind Miles Sanders because of the injury issues with him, and because Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott, they haven't done really anything to really establish themselves as trustworthy options this year behind Sanders, who's having a career year. For Hines, throughout his respective career, 300 carries, more than 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns, and an average yards per carry of 4 flat. And from one running back to another, reports out there that the Cleveland Browns wanted a 4th-round pick for Kareem Hunt. That's also a player who would have improved this roster, but I think in not making a trade for Kareem Hunt, Howie Roseman sent a message to the rest of the locker room in saying, I really like the special culture that we have right now. It's a big reason why everybody is confident and comfortable with one another. That's a reason why we're humming through 7 games, and we're a perfect 7-0 as the last undefeated team in the NFL. And a guy like Kareem Hunt has a little bit of baggage with his previous legal issues, but also it's in the final year of his contract, so he would have wanted a lot of carries. And a guy like that maybe doesn't care about the greater good of the team, but when you talk about just the overall player that is Kareem Hunt as a backup to Miles Sanders and a guy who's a good running back, but also a threat with the ball in his hands when getting targeted as a pass-catching option, really is intriguing. But as we know, if the Browns did indeed want a 4th-round pick, that's what the Eagles gave away for Robert Quinn. Now, in 2023, they still have a bunch of draft picks in the canister. And that's why I was a little bit surprised that the Eagles didn't make a move, because they do have draft picks looking ahead this year in 2023, but also in the years after that. That 1st-round pick from New Orleans, they don't give that up for a guy like Alvin Kamara. That was the reported asking price. They also have their own 1st-round pick, a 2nd-round pick, their own 3rd-round pick. They traded that 4th for Quinn, and then they have the 7th from the Vikings and their own pick in the 7th round as well. And also, the Eagles could have taken on a larger contract, because in 2023, the Eagles are 6th in the National Football League in cap space, and that's why Howie Roseman really is the runaway, favorite for Executive of the Year. You look at the team that he's constructed, but also how well they're set up in the future, and that's what good businesses do. They compete, they make money right now, and then in the sporting realm, obviously they win games, but they set themselves up for future success, and that's what Howie Roseman has been able to do and is doing for Philadelphia. My overall takeaway with not making a trade for a running back simply comes down to the health of Miles Sanders. This guy is having a career year this year. He's on pace to have his first season of more than 1,000 rushing yards. He can be a dual threat back if he's asked to do so, even though he's had some issues with drops. But if Miles Sanders goes down, that's when I get concerned about the lack of depth at that running back spot for Philadelphia. If he stays healthy, I'm okay with Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott being those backups, and of course Trey Sermon can also be an option as well. So today's poll question is this, and I want to hear from everybody right now in the comment section. Are you mad the Eagles didn't make a move? Type M for, yeah, I'm mad. I wanted Howie Roseman to bring in a safety, to bring in a running back, to bring in another depth piece, or type U for undefeated because you don't think the Eagles needed to make a move at all. Let me know right now in the comment section. Always like hearing from the Bird Gang. Do want to welcome a brand new sponsor here to Philadelphia Eagles now. It is Established Titles. So let me ask you this question. Do you want a plot of land in Scotland? Yes, that's right, a plot of land in Scotland. And in doing so, do you want to help out the environment? If you make a purchase with Established Titles, you get land in Scotland and a tree will be planted somewhere across the world. What is Established Titles? It's a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords or ladies in English. And you see the plaque on your screen here? I am now Lord Chase Sr. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Scotland and an official certificate with a crest. Established Titles plants a tree with every order, and they work with global charities all across the globe. You could officially include the title of Lord or Lady on your credit card, plane tickets, dating profiles, and more. It makes for a great last-minute gift. Can you imagine with the holiday season coming up around the corner that you tell your mom, you tell your dad, a friend or family member that you have them a plot of land in Scotland, and with that, you get to help out the world. EstablishedTitles.com/chat. You get 10% off using the promo code chat. We'll put that link in the comment section and the description of this video for all of the Bird Gang out there. Let's go through some of the moves that did transpire on the NFL trade deadline, because there were a lot of notable moves. And growing up, there weren't often transactions made on the NFL trade deadline. Now, it was earlier in the year back in the day. Now it's a little bit later, but also with general managers now in the NFL like Howie Roseman, teams have become a lot more aggressive. One of the bigger moves today was the Minnesota Vikings going all in. They're one of the top teams in the NFC. The Eagles are 7-0. The Vikings only have one loss. That one loss coming to the Philadelphia Eagles. And we'll get to that TJ Hockenson trade here coming up around the corner. But the Vikings going all in, Eagles, they went all in with Robert Quinn, and I like the fact that teams are being a little bit more aggressive. As for some of my concerns on this current Eagles roster here, and while I was a little bit hoping that Howie Roseman would make a deal, defensive tackle depth depending on the injury to Jordan Davis, backup safety options because Kayvon Wallace is not a good backup, running back depth, and then a punt and kick returner. Another takeaway is the fact that the Eagles did not make a Brian Burns trade, and Brian Burns was not moved at all. Carolina deciding to hold on to him. They hold on to DJ Moore. Brian Burns going to be a name that's linked to Philadelphia if he doesn't sign a contract extension after 2023 as one of the more premier edge rushers in the game. All right, back to those moves that happened and have happened today on NFL trade deadline day. The Detroit Lions getting a second-round pick and a third-round pick, 2023 and 2024, for TJ Hockenson, who's a top 10 tight end in the NFL. So the Vikings go all in by getting another really good weapon for Kirk Cousins. Another big trade. This one happened on, Monday. Roquan Smith going to the Baltimore Ravens from the Chicago Bears. The Bears get a second-round pick, a fifth-round pick, and linebacker A.J. Klein. There was that Kadarius Toney trade last week from the New York Giants to the Kansas City Chiefs. We know former Eagles coach Andy Reid does like to take some chances on players, and he did that with Kadarius Toney, who just fell out of favor with that new regime with the New York Football Giants. The big one for Philadelphia, acquiring Robert Quinn for a fourth-round pick, a depth edge rusher, a guy who had 18.5 sacks last year. He's going to be able to get after the passer given the other pieces along this defensive line and on this defense for Philly. I like the value there for the Birds. The Cowboys got Jonathan Hankins, the Raiders, a sixth-round pick in exchange for that defensive tackle, a seventh-round pick also going to Dallas. James Robinson to the New York Jets. A good running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags receive a 2023 sixth-round pick. That's a conditional selection there. Another big trade that actually happened here on Tuesday. Chase Claypool, who the Eagles took on Sunday, who burned them, and I mean burned them as a rookie a couple of years ago at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Justin Fields gets another weapon, and it's much needed because that Bears offense, they lack offensive weapons for their young quarterback. The Steelers get a second-round pick. Another big move in the division here as well is that the Commanders get a sixth-round pick for William Jackson, who was a big acquisition for Washington, but was not a scheme fit at all. Pittsburgh getting a top-tier corner when he's playing well. And then probably the biggest splash of the day, the Miami Dolphins. They like what they see from this roster. They spent a lot of money in NFL free agency, and with that, they make a trade for Bradley Chubb, as well as a first-round pick in 2023, a fourth-round pick in 2024, and Chase Edmonds going to the Denver Broncos, a fifth-round pick going to Miami as well. A lot of the picks going to Denver are the draft picks that the 49ers had sent Miami in exchange for the opportunity to move up for Trey Lance. A minor trade here on the periphery of both of these rosters for the Dolphins and the 49ers is that Jeff Wilson is going to Miami. They needed a running back badly, and Jeff Wilson has familiarity with their head coach and Mike McDaniel. He was a former offensive coordinator under Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco. He's been with them for the last several years. Now Wilson, who kind of became expendable after the Niners traded for Christian McCaffrey, links back up with his former OC, Jeff Wilson, to the Miami Dolphins. Another surprising one, Calvin Ridley, who's suspended this year for betting on the game of football. Dougie P putting his stones on the table, getting Trevor Lawrence, a legit wide receiver, when this guy is actually on the field and not breaking rules, even though I did think the rule breaking was a little bit phony there. Falcons receiving future draft picks for a player who's so talented when he's right, so talented when he's healthy, has that familiarity with Jalen Hurts, but obviously he's run into injury issues, mental health issues, and then had that betting scandal. That's why he's suspended for all of 2022. Broncos pretty active today. They also got Jacob Martin, defensive end, used to go to Temple University. T for Temple U. Jets receive a 2024 fourth-round pick. And then Nyheim Hines. This is the player that a lot of people wanted, and we talked about a little bit earlier on the show. Nyheim Hines to the Bills for a 6th-round pick and Zach Moss. Howie could have made this trade if he really wanted to. Honestly, he could have gotten Nyheim Hines as a backup option. Why I also liked Hines, a punt returner as well, and Britton Covey really hasn't moved the needle all that much, in my opinion, at that punt returner spot. And then a couple of these moves coming in after the deadline, very similar to the NBA trade deadline. Rashad Fenton from the Chiefs to the Falcons for a conditional 7th. And then the Bills receiving Dean Marlowe for a 2023 7th-round pick. That's going to the Atlanta Falcons there. So those are the moves that happened throughout the NFL trade deadline, and a lot of entertainment that did ensue. But the one constant, Philadelphia not doing anything. I can imagine that Howie Roseman was working the phones, but at the end of the day, decides to not make a move outside of Robert Quinn last week. If you made it this far and you're subscribed to Philadelphia Eagles Now, this is what I want you to do right now. It's a real one roll call. As always, we appreciate everybody for supporting the show. And if you're subscribed and you watch this long, type real one, because we appreciate you just like you appreciate us. All right, who's a real one? Philly fan 1, Cool Range, Sham Bright. I see all of you as real ones right now. 300 people watching live. Can we get to 100 likes? Hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. Jimmy Kimmel is dead exposed. Real one. Fly Eagles Fly. D Blunt. I know he's a real one. Becken is a real one. Ghost TGTV. Real one. Mazer. Aaron. Ghost. Murphy Brown. Kara Poole. Pack Hounds. The Jedi Kid, Brandon Ford. Appreciate that, everybody, for supporting the show and everything that we do here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. We're down to hang out and kick it for a little while. Here is our Super Chat menu. $5 will ring the Liberty Bell. $10, EAGLES chant. $20, we'll put your name on the Declaration of Independence. Any Super Chat over $20, you get your name on the Declaration of Independence, because Philadelphia is America's birthplace. And for a $50 Super Chat, we'll do a shotgun, we'll do a freedom funnel, and we'll party a little bit. Back to the Declaration of Independence. Love all of the movement and all of the support that we've had. I see Seahawks fans are in the chat right now. That's weird.
That has to be TJ's burner account.
It has to be Tyler Jones's burner account. He's the host of Seahawks Today. But we brought this Declaration of Independence out for our watch party on Sunday. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. And every Super Chat that came in, $20 or more, we put everybody's name on the bottom of this. This Declaration of Independence, 5 feet tall. And as you can see, a lot of names are featured on that. So if you send us in a Super Chat, $20 or more, we'll sign your name on the Declaration of Independence, as well as we recap what has happened throughout the NFL trade deadline today. Seahawks clip, say my name, bruh. Say my name, say my name. Seahawks Chat Sports. That's definitely Tyler Jones's burner account. Kara Poole, I see you as well. Him, Heron, straightforward, real one. MP4 Philly, also a real one. Chris A., my pumpkin was an eagle. Bird Gang. That sounds really cool right there. Your pumpkin was a Philadelphia Eagle. Must have taken some good work there. Jay Everett, thanks for supporting the show. Murphy Brown, Jesus is Lord. Okay, nice. Mazer, real one. 75 likes right now, 25 from 100. I stop now, Eagles. Do y'all think? What'd you say, Seahawks clips? That doesn't make sense.
TJ, lay off the boots, dog.
Yeah, TJ, lay off the boots, man. Kara Poole giving us those eagle emojis. If you want us to answer any of your questions, use the hashtag Eagles. Any questions? Hashtag Eagles. Get them in the chat. Producer Trace will just pop them up, and we'll answer all of your questions. Hashtag Eagles or Super Chat to get featured on the show. We're down to chop it up. We're down to talk. Kara Poole wants to see us get some potatoes. Captain Delberto, where you at, brother? Lucy Salas, Philly is on fire. Straight up, no doubt. All right, let's start answering your questions here. Use the hashtag Eagles if you have any questions about what the Eagles did or did not do on the NFL trade deadline. Cool Rains, good day, mate. Are you more worried about the Vikings after their massive trade for TJ Hawkinson? No, I'm not. Because even with TJ Hawkinson, I don't think it improves their team greatly in the fact that Philadelphia completely dominated them on Monday Night Football earlier this year. And I saw a clear talent gap and a coaching gap between Philadelphia, Nick Sirianni, and the Minnesota Vikings and Kevin O'Connell, who's a Delco guy. I just think the Eagles are much better, and I don't have much faith that Kirk Cousins can get it done in a big spot. And if the Eagles continue to move, if they continue to really dominate on their schedule, and they get that number one seed in the NFC, and other teams have to come to the link in January to advance in the NFL playoffs. It's one of the more, if not the most difficult places to play in the NFL. A player like Kirk Cousins, we've seen guys like that get flustered before, and I think he'll get flustered again. Philly fan 1, can you shout me out, bro? Yes, sir. Use hashtag Eagles. I'll give you another shout out. Kara Poole, we doing a watch party on Thursday? You already know. Watch party coming your way on Thursday. And now that the Phillies-Astros Game 3 of the World Series got delayed, they now play tonight, Wednesday, Thursday. So I'll have the Phillies-Astros game up as well as the Eagles game up. We'll probably have like a score lower third on our Eagles watch party. It'll be an all-Philadelphia watch party on Thursday. I'm very excited for it. Brandon Ford, what up, playa? Do you think Howie is going to stay for a while in our organization? Yeah, I think so. I mean, Jeffrey Lurie has shown so much trust and so much faith to Howie Roseman over time. If you remember, Howie Roseman started with the Eagles coming out of the University of Florida as an intern, and he was like this stat maven. And then he climbed the ladder under Joe Banner and then started to make some headway in being a football executive, and he was looked at and viewed as kind of a math guy early in his executive career. But not only is he that because he's fleeced teams on some trades, he has signed players to some really financially savvy deals. What's most important, that his talent eye has gotten better over time, and that's what's really important. Jeffrey Lurie has so much faith in him. A lot of people wanted him gone. I mean, if you remember, Chip Kelly moved his office. He didn't want anything to do with Howie Roseman. He basically took him away from any premium spot within this Eagles front office, and then Howie Roseman comes back as the GM after Chip Kelly. Doug Peterson clashed with him, but what he's done with Nick Sirianni really has been spectacular. Philly fan, you had the right idea using the hashtag Eagles. If you have anything to say on top of that, use the hashtag Eagles. Andrew, do you think Gainwell can thrive if given enough touches if Sanders goes down? He has shown some signs of greatness here and there, and think he could be the guy if needed. I don't think he's the guy because I don't think he holds up physically. I do think he's a solid backup running back. In training camp, the coaching staff was a little bit frustrated with him and his lack of ball security, and I think that's kind of translated to the regular season, which is why you haven't seen him have a role like he did last year as that rookie late-round pick coming out of Memphis. I like his game, though. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. Even though he is shorter in stature, he has been pretty good on some short yardage situations. If Sanders were to go down, I do have faith that the Eagles' ground game can still thrive, flourish, and succeed because the offensive line is the best, and I really like this scheme. But Kenny Gainwell isn't a number one running back. He also hasn't played as much because Miles Sanders is having a career year. Kara Poole with another one. When will we start re-signing some of these guys? After the year. The window has passed for that. So they'll start signing these guys after the year, in my opinion. Sir Rooster, are you surprised by the Eagles not using Trey Sermon at all? A little bit surprised, but not overly surprised. I talked about this earlier. I think that it's really more indicative of what the Eagles kind of prioritize on their game day roster. And what I mean by that is the Eagles have 3 active running backs on game day. They could go 4 because other teams go 4. They don't have Trey Sermon in there. 1, because I don't know if he's going to live up to the expectations of being a third-round pick from San Francisco, only last year coming out of Ohio State and before that Oklahoma. But I think they actually like having more tight ends on the field because they do run a little bit of 12 personnel with 2 tight end sets. And I think they'd rather have an extra tight end as compared to an extra running back. Seatman owes us a stash. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. This coming from Losing Hope with Humanity, Seahawks blow. It's wild how well they've actually played this year. Geno Smith is the highest rated passer in the NFC, and I think that Pete Carroll, now that he took down Brian Dable, he's a runaway coach of the year. But yes, the Seahawks blow, and that's a franchise that I don't like at all. Pack Hounds, CC. It seems like we've been running base plays all year. Is it time to open it up? Why would you change what's worked? You know what I mean? And look, the Eagles have changed it up from last year. They threw the ball on first down the most among all teams in the NFL last year, and it didn't work. That's why the Eagles got off to that slow start. They then changed their philosophy to more of a run-heavy approach, and that's why the Eagles were able to rebound from those early season woes to turn it around and make the playoffs in the first year of a rebuild. This year, though, they've aired it out more because Jalen Hurts has taken that progression as a passer. It's been very, very reminiscent to the progress that we've seen from Josh Allen, and the offense, because of that, is more pass-happy this year as compared to being run-heavy last year. But it's worked what they're doing, and I think it's a beautiful scheme that oftentimes has guys running free, which makes the reads a lot easier for Jalen Hurts. Here is our Super Chat menu, by the way, and we better get to 100 likes. We're 19 away. Can we get to 100 likes in the next minute? Got to get to 100 likes in the next minute because that is criminal that we're not there yet. Viewer participation. Get that ish up. Starting the shot clock here. 100 likes, that's what we're shooting for in 1 minute. We're 18 away right now. So if you're watching, make sure you hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. We just got another super chat from Losing Hope with Humanity. That brought us to $42 in super chats. With that, E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles. Appreciate that. I'll give you a little Liberty Bell ring to Losing Hope with Humanity. If you're out there, you want to send in a super chat, we're down to party a little bit. We have not yet cracked a beer, but we will do that for a $50 super chat. So if we get to $100 in super chats, we might just sign off, call it a day. We're not going to go as hard as we've done on previous shows, but hey, we're down to party. We're down to have a good time. 15 seconds left to get to 100 likes. We're 2 away. Just got there. I never doubted the Fly Eagles Fly family. Go Birds! Seahawks clips. One of the easiest schedules in NFL history. You know, it's funny that people say that because it's just not true. The Dallas Cowboys are 6-2. The Minnesota Vikings have 1 loss, and the Eagles have thumped both of those teams. And you're going to say that the Seahawks have had a difficult schedule? Come on now, man. If you're going to say something like that, you got to spit facts. This is not factual because the Eagles have taken care of business on their schedule. Jeffrey L. Is the deadline over? Yes, it was at 4 o'clock Eastern. So it passed about 2+ hours ago, even though some trades did happen right after that. So it is over. Eagles did not make any moves. Let's chop it up. You want to continue to ask us questions? Hashtag Eagles. We'll stay live as long as we get some super chats. If we don't get any more super chats, we'll just sign off. We've been live now for about 40 minutes. E. Garza with another one. Super Bowl. Bills versus Eagles. That would be a good Super Bowl with contrasting styles too. I mean, the Bills and Josh Allen, they really just like to throw the football and not run it at all. Now, does their trade of Nyheim Hines change things a little bit? Maybe, but you have Josh Allen. Yes, he's tantalizing. It's hard to not ask him to drop back and chuck it 40 to 50 times. But it would be a fascinating matchup because the Eagles' defense, I think, could give the Bills' offense some problems, and the Eagles' offense could give the Bills' defense some problems. And these are two of the greatest fan bases in all of sports. There's been a lot of memes out there that America might burn down if it's Buffalo against Philadelphia in the Super Bowl. But E. Garza, I hope it happens. I need to experience another parade down Broad Street. And if it's the Phillies that's doing that, okay. Seatman owes us a stash. Seahawks clips. Loves riding D.
Get owned!
Get owned. Losing Hope with Humanity. Just own the Seahawks fan in the chat. Honestly, we're just messing around with the Seahawks fan. Chris A., easy schedule and the best team. Stop hating Seahawks fan. Go cry over Russell. You know what's crazy? Geno Smith has outplayed Russell Wilson this year. Melvin Ford, who's going to be the star on Thursday night? Let's go Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders. I don't like that Houston ground defense, and now he knows that he's the number one running back on this team. He's like, oh, we didn't trade for Nyheim Hines. We didn't trade for Kareem Hunt or Alvin Kamara. I'm just going to go all in here. Less pressure on him. Hashtag Eagles or Super Chat to get your questions in. Let me make this deal. We get to $100 in total here on the show. I'll do a shotgun. Trace will do his freedom funnel. That's $100 total. Doesn't have to come from one single person, but if we get there and we are $49 away, we'll party a little bit. So that is our Super Chat discount for everybody right there. Let's go through some of the trades there, Trace. All of the trades that have happened here during the NFL trade deadline, we'll talk about them right now. Couple of big ones here. The Vikings, they get TJ Hawkinson from the Detroit Lions. Detroit clearly in sell mode. Dan Campbell on the hot seat. And in the process, the Vikings get a top 10 tight end in the NFL. Yesterday, this trade happened. Roquan Smith from the Bears to the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore, with Roquan Smith going into the final year of his deal, probably going to sign a contract extension, and that's an organization that has always prioritized linebackers. Kadarius Toney last week got sent from the Giants to the Kansas City Chiefs. He gets a new leash on life. He fell out of favor with New York, did Kadarius Toney, and he kind of has some intriguing qualities. Really quick feet, run after the catch ability. We know that Andy Reid, going all the way back to Philadelphia, does take some chances on guys from a character perspective, and he's doing it once again with Kadarius Toney. Giants receive a third-round pick and 6 for a player who was drafted in the first round only last year. Robert Quinn to the Birds, that happened last week. We went live for it. An absolute blast. Appreciate everybody who tuned into the live show. You get a guy who, yeah, is 32 years old, but last year had 18 and a half sacks, and you get him for a 4th-round pick, and you still have a lot of draft picks at your disposal, including 2 first-rounders, and you have the 6th most cap space in the NFL going into next year. Pretty good for Philadelphia to pull that trade off. The Cowboys got some insurance at defensive tackle last week with Jonathan Hankins. Raiders got a 6th-round pick in exchange for him. Also last week, James Robinson to the New York Jets. That's after Breece Hall went down with that season-ending knee injury. So James Robinson, pretty good player for Jacksonville if we pivot over to that trace. And the Jags get a 6th-round conditional pick back. And James Robinson going to assume a pretty large duty with the New York Jets after Hall went out. He was balling too. Chase Claypool today. Big trade between the Steelers and the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields needed some more weapons, and he gets one in the form of Chase Claypool for a 2nd-round pick. He burned the Eagles a couple of years ago as a rookie at Heinz Field. One that does have divisional implications. The Commanders, when they brought in William Jackson, that was a huge move. Wasn't a scheme fit, though, for defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio. He had played poorly. He wanted to get traded. He was going to get released, according to reports, if he was not dealt. Instead, the Commanders get something back, a 6th-rounder. William Jackson goes to Pittsburgh to try to fortify that defense that the Eagles put the thump on Sunday. Another monster splash trade, Bradley Chubb to the Miami Dolphins. 2025 5th-round pick also going to Miami. A 1st-round pick from San Francisco. It's that Trey Lance trade in 2023 going to Denver as they've stockpiled some picks today. A 4th-round pick in 2024 as well as Chase Edmonds. They needed a back too because Javonte Williams went out a few weeks ago with that respective knee injury. A minor move, San Francisco had a feeling this was going to happen after that trade of Christian McCaffrey because Jeff Wilson, once Elijah Mitchell comes back, probably going to be RB3. He goes to the Dolphins to team up with his former OC, now the head coach, and Mike McDaniel. 49ers get back a 5th-round pick, so they get back a pick that they had given up for Christian McCaffrey. The Jaguars getting Calvin Ridley. He's suspended for all of 2022, but next year he'll be yet another weapon for Trevor Lawrence. Falcons getting future draft picks. Ridley, of course, suspended for betting on the game of football. Jacob Martin, former Temple University defensive end, T for Temple U. Shout out to the Cherry and White. That's where I went to school. If you did too, type Temple in the comment section. Going to Denver, as well as a 5th-round pick. Jets getting a 4th-round pick. And then Nyheim Hines to the Bills for Zach Moss and a 6th-round pick. I was a little bit disappointed that the Eagles didn't make this trade because I thought Nyheim Hines could have been a good backup option behind Miles Sanders. And then a couple of trades that happened after the deadline Rashad Fenton to the Falcons for a conditional 7th-round pick from KC. Bills received Dean Marlowe, a safety. Falcons received that 7th-round pick in 2023. So the Falcons also a little bit active today. All right, start answering some of your questions. Brandon Ford, Chase, let's join a flag football league with Trizzy. You know what's funny? I don't know if you guys know who Marshall Green is. He hosts our New York Giants Now channel. He tried out for the Olympic national flag football team. He's really, really good. He's one of the best flag football quarterbacks in the country. Now, I can chuck it too, about 50 yards downfield. I still got that wing, and as I fumbled it, so that means my ball security isn't all that good, but I can chuck it deep downfield. Maybe play a little bit of slot wide receiver. I would love to, Brandon. It'd be a blast. I'm still in good shape. I run every day for 160 straight days. That's my streak right now. The only thing is I work so much that I wish I could join a flag football league or a rec softball league. I just can't because we don't have any time. And then when breaking news happens, I got to do a video or do a live show in a pinch. All right, this message is for Elijah Stovall. Here's our Super Chat menu. I saw him back in the chat. Saw you in the chat there, Elijah. $5 will ring the Liberty Bell. $10, EAGLES chant. $20 or more, we'll put your name on the Declaration of Independence. And if we get to $100 in total, I'll do a shotgun. Trace will do a freedom funnel. Hey, Elijah!
Elijah! Elijah! Elijah! Elijah! Elijah! Elijah! Elijah! Elijah!
The OG comes through once again. Now, Elijah, I already put your name on the Declaration of Independence a couple of times. There was Elijah on one of them. And then, where else did I have you on here? I think I put Elijah Stovall, big baller, somewhere on here. I think
I know it's early, but assuming the Saints pick is top 10, who would you pick? I kind of like Bijan Robinson,
big
but
baller
that's too
Elijah.
early. It's too early. For top 10.
See, here's the thing, right?
But you have 2 first rounds, so it's
yeah. Elijah, thanks for that, bro. We do appreciate that. The big baller, the Super Chat MVP here on Philadelphia Eagles now, and an absolute real one. So, look, the Saints, they came through with a big win last week. Huge win for that team. We'll see where they fall in the draft order, and that's why Elijah said, I know it's a little bit early, but assuming that Saints pick is top 10, who do you go with? Honestly, I hate the philosophy of drafting a running back in the first round. Shoot, I don't really like drafting running backs in the second round either. Here's the thing for Philadelphia. Do they have a clear need? And if not, do they go best player available? And if they want to go best player available, and if Bijan Robinson is on the board, that could be really intriguing. Will Anderson, of course, really intriguing. Now, from a team philosophy standpoint for Philly, they really like edge rushers. They really like offensive tackles. They could use another edge rusher. Robert Quinn expected to hit free agency. Brandon Graham also going to be a free agent. After that, you're very thin. So I think they go edge rusher. But Bijan Robinson, here's where this is interesting too. Let's say that Miles Sanders, who's a free agent, decides to go somewhere else for $10 million. Bijan Robinson's not going to be making that much money. So you could potentially upgrade at running back and pay that running back cheaper if you go after a guy in the NFL draft like a Bijan Robinson. So fascinating stuff right there. No doubt about that.
If you wanted offensive tackle, Peter Skoronski out of Northwestern is an option, as well as there's a Penn State offensive tackle. I'm not even going to try and say his name.
How about edge rushers?
Edge rushers, you got Jared Verse out of Florida State. You got Will Anderson, obviously. You got Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech.
Okay.
That's another option.
Yeah, so I would personally probably go edge rusher there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Philly fan 1, hi. Hello, Philly fan. All right, we do have to do a shotgun. And a freedom funnel for Elijah's $50 super chat. We make the rules. We're not frauds. We stand by them. That gets us to $100 in super chats for our live show. Elijah, you demand. Seahawks clips. I'll be back. Hey, thanks for watching the show, man. Thanks for getting that comment section going. It was very entertaining.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back, man. Nice. How much?
All right.
How much for a freedom funnel? $50.
Big baller Elijah.
Just $50, please. Elijah. Yeah, he joins the chat right when you're talking about Super Chats. He goes, I have arrived.
I have arrived. Like, Elijah the OG has arrived. All right, once Trace gets that poured up, He'll do the Freedom Funnel because Philly is America's birthplace, and the eagle, it's our national symbol. Shotgun for y'all as well.
Going back for some foam. It's all drink.
This is really foamy as well.
What's with the foam today? Maybe
A
it's
lot of
something in
foam.
the air. Maybe it's
I like
something
what
in
you're
the air.
saying, my guy from Chris A.
I can pop them up.
I don't watch mediocre teams on Chat Sports, so no way I'll be checking out the Seahawks channel. Go cry to your Seagull family. The Seagulls or the Sheehawks? Or the Sea Chickens. All nicknames for Seattle. Shabaka.
The Seahawks are the rulers of the sea. The Eagles control land, air, and sea.
I love that. That's actually fantastic, Shabaka. That is truly elite. And I love the philosophical element that you added there. Because think about it, right? The Seahawks are the rulers of the sea. The Eagles control land, air, and sea, which is exactly true.
Yeah.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
The sea squawks. I like that.
Yeah, the Sea Queefs. The Sea Squawks
Queefhawks.
from Dennis Fife. Carapool, 7-0 says what? Exactly. 7-0 who? 7-0 the Birds. Ring the Liberty Bell. All right, we're about to sign off here, unless we get any more Super Chats. Carapool, oh my gosh, Chase.
Oh my
I was
gosh,
just
Kara.
messing around.
What? Tell us. We need to know.
All right. 2 minutes on our Super Chat shot clock. 2 minutes. Dose. 2 minutes on our Super Chat shot clock. We got any more Super Chats? We'll continue to chop it up. I really didn't have any plans to go live unless the Eagles made a trade. They did not make a trade, and I said, you know what? Let's just go live anyway because I'm addicted to talking Eagles football and interacting with everybody out there. So, Carapool, I heard Sea Queefs. Yes, you did hear that. You did.
Yes, you did.
You did indeed. You did indeed.
These are things that were said.
Where is Downey on the
different
Cowboys
channel.
report? Not here. That's where he is.
He's in the loser column, unlike the Eagles.
Philly fan, fly. Eagles, fly. Don't let Houston trap you from Melvin Ford.
Could you imagine? That'd be brutal.
See, what I love about this team is their identity. It's their confidence. It's them never being content. At some point, I think the Eagles do lose. And at some point, they have a plus 14 turnover differential right now. At some point, they're going to turn the rock over and maybe lose a game because of that. But I love the leadership council on this team right now, led by Jalen Hurts, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Brandon Graham. They love this ride that the Eagles are on. They love that Philadelphia is at the epicenter of the sporting universe right now. But they're also not content with just being a good, undefeated team. They want to win a Super Bowl. So they always find things that they can work on to better improve themselves. Trizzy, let's go. Green Light Social.
Okay, Brandon, I was just about to say,
Do you
what
know
up,
about
my
that
guy?
place?
No.
No?
I don't know anything about it, but
Brandon Ford, at some point, include me on that, bro. At some point, we will all go. At some point, we will all go.
sorry, Chase, you just got to be elite like me.
I know. I guess I'm not cool enough for Brandon Ford. I guess I'm not
It's me
cool.
and Kara and Potion. The three of us, we're going to just make it work.
Yeah.
Mr. Twin Turbo, he's so high. Not yet.
Who?
In a few hours.
Who is?
I don't know.
The Seahawks fan? Waffle Crusher? You're cool, fam. I'm
Brandon,
just messing.
tell me
Brandon's my
about this place.
boy. We interact plenty on IG.
What's the deal with this place? Green Light Social.
Green Light Social.
Is it cool?
Got
the
some
vibe?
lady friends wanting to go.
Are they baddies? That's the thing.
Trey said, are they bad?
Are they bad?
Brandon Ford. Appreciate it,
to know.
homie. Carapool said, I'm down, but what? Team Cali, Niners going to come out of the bye week strong as ever? I believe so, too. They have some momentum. They beat down the Rams. Dude, channel your inner Ronnie from Jersey Shore. I don't know about like the whole Jersey Shore vibe. I could do a little Delco, though. I could do a little Delco. Channel the inner Delco. Brandon, you're funny, bro. Hey, yo, you see the Eagles? They're 7-0 right now. Last undefeated team in the effing NFL. But, yo, that's cool and all, but the Phillies are even cooler, dude. World Series Game 3 at CBP, South Philadelphia. I'm going to be out tailgating all day. Let's go, Phils. Beat those cheating Houston Astros. That's my Delco accent. Great at A, B, C, D, or F. Waffle Crusher. Phillies need this dub. Facts, man. I need a Phillies win like I need air.
Let's go, Phils. Let's go, Phils. Let's go, Phils. Let's go, Phils.
For real, though. For real, though. All right. I actually forgot to stop the shot clock. Any more super chats within 2 minutes? We'll stay live. No. If we don't get any more super chats in 2 minutes, we'll just sign off. We'll sign off. Didn't need to go live today. Decided to go live anyway because we're built different. We're built different. Hangman 113. Tonight going to be lit at CBP. It's going to be lit at Citizens Bank Park. First World Series game since 2009. It is going to be an unbelievable atmosphere. I wish I could be there. Count Club Cheese. Philly beat my Braves, but I'm going to ride with them. National League, go Bravos. You know what's cool, Count Club? Braves won the World Series last year. Nats in 2018. Phillies have another opportunity to do that this year. Can you say best team in baseball? Best team in baseball? BTIB. That's what the Eagles are. Do you see the Eagles sign Sidney Jones from Brandon Peck? Stop it. No, they didn't. If that happened, that's another video and we're staying live. You're lying. You trying to get us? We're not going to get got.
We don't get got.
Hey, 40 seconds left for any super chats. You send them in, we'll stay live. If not, we'll sign off.
Because if you don't get got, then you got get. Got it?
Oh, okay. So the Seahawks waived Sidney Jones. The Eagles could definitely swoop in and sign him to bring back the former second-round pick. That's interesting. Name to keep an eye out for is Sidney Jones. All right, 10 seconds left to get in any super chats. We get any more super chats, we'll stay live. If not, we'll dip. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. An impromptu live. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. 3,200 people joining us for about an hour. Didn't need to go live, but I wanted to because there was a lot to talk about with the Eagles not making any moves on the day of the NFL trade deadline. We will be doing a watch party for Thursday Night Football against the Houston Texans, and it's going to be a Philly versus Houston watch party because the Phillies are going to be playing in the World Series against the Houston Astros that night as well. So we'll be breaking down the Eagles game. We'll also have the Phillies game on too. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Appreciate everybody for tuning into the content. If you like what you saw and you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now, and we'll catch you tomorrow here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Peace!
Eagles Now. We get busy chasing Trizzy. Eagles Now. Cruising birds, we keep it litty. Eagles Now. Pre-game, post-game, make it look easy. Eagles Now. No one likes us, please believe it. Eagles Now. Super chats, we keep them coming. Eagles Now. Jalen a booby, keep it running. Eagles Now. Shots downtown, AJ Brown. Eagles Now. If you ain't know, you know it now. Eagles Now.